Welcome to Bill's Aviation Podcast, where your stories are our stories. I'm a general aviation pilot, aviation writer, airplane builder, avionics developer, test pilot, and general screw-up. All stories feature Joe and his merry band of miscreants. The purpose of these stories is to educate and entertain pilots. If you have a story you'd like to share anonymously, please contact me. Today's story is titled Marine One. Back when George H.W. Bush was president, he took the helicopter Marine One from the UN in New York City to Atlanta to give a speech. As is normal, a TFR was established along the New Jersey shore so the president's helicopter wouldn't have to contend with any air traffic on the way to and from Atlantic City. Joe's home base was located under the TFR, and on a beautiful VFR day, he didn't like being grounded. As was typical, Joe was pacing back and forth, checking his watch every so often for the expiration of the TFR. Joe had already pulled out his World War II Navy Stearman out of the hangar and pre-flighted it, just waiting for the TFR to expire. The second the TFR expired, Joe called flight services to verify the TFR was expired and another one wasn't put in its place. All was cleared for Joe's afternoon flight. Joe's yellow Navy Stearman was restored completely original. It didn't have an electrical system, which means no radio, and to start it, you had to hand crank the inertia starter. The old Continental radial engine caught on the second blade, as was normal. Joe blasted off towards the shore to perform some aerobatics over the beach, as he was known to do. As Joe was coming out of a loop, he noticed a helicopter heading north, up the beach. Not just any helicopter, but a Marine helicopter, painted suspiciously like Marine One. Straightening up, Joe pulled into formation with the helicopter, and much to his surprise, he could see the president was waving at them. Joe waved back. You see, President Bush was a naval aviator in World War II and had trained in a yellow Stearman like Joe was flying, and the president apparently enjoyed seeing one in flight. While Joe was enjoying entertaining the president, the phone in his office started ringing. Susy-Q picked up the phone, and the conversation went something like this. "This is Special Agent Smith. Get your airplane away from the president's helicopter or we will shoot it down." Susy-Q, ever the smart and quick-witted person, responded. "First, your TFR expired half an hour ago. Second, that's an antique airplane and it doesn't have a radio, so I have no way to contact him. And third, that is the same type of aircraft the president trained in during the war. You are not going to shoot it down. Just imagine the press you will get." Special Agent Smith mumbled something unrepeatable and slammed the phone down. Joe was lucky in that he suffered no unfortunate consequences from his impromptu flight with the President of the United States. Lesson learned. Sometimes it's just better to be lucky than good. I'm not sure if today's Secret Service would be so kind. It is best to avoid the President in flight and not push the limits. Thank you for listening, and if you enjoyed what you heard, please hit the like button and subscribe by clicking on the logo in the lower right of your screen. If you really like what you heard, please help support this channel and become a Patreon. Part of each donation will go to aviation safety and aviation youth programs. Be sure to check out next week's story about a pilot almost hitting a young child with his propeller.